I'm Harrison, and this is Clinical Copilot. It was the application we built in the first 2 weeks of Gauntlet. Now, it has a clinical chatbot that answers questions about a patient's chart with safety rules built in. It only discusses patients that you're assigned to, and it has to back up everything it says. It's actually supposed to refuse to answer anything that's outside its zone of control. Now, every system like this has a bunch of weak spots, and the real problem is keeping up. As I've learned, new attacks happen pretty much every day. And, there are smart people out there who that is their focus. They keep trying. So, as the new attacks appear, modes change and the codes change. A one-time security review is stale after pretty much the day you finish it. So we had to build something that's new, that's going to check it continuously and report everything on one page. That would be this page. Now, you can see here, this is Agent 4 dashboard, and behind it is a small team of 4 AI agents who never stop working on breaking through that chat box. Now, the first one, it decides what to text next. The next one is the attacker. The third one is the judge, who deliberately decides what is working and what isn't. And the third one writes up every confirmed problem as a report. So these 4 boxes up here, they show where things are standing at the moment. You'll see that all 9 types of attacks have been run. 6 problems were found. However, only 2 are left unresolved. 9 attacks were run so far, and the judge agrees with every one of my hand-checked judgments 100% of the time. So that's pretty good, I think. Because if you can't trust the judge, who can you trust? And we also have up here the stop button. So at any point during a run, this can manually be stopped. It stops the run, allows the user, the human in the scenario, to go ahead and reassess. Now we move on down to panel number 1. Now that's the attack category. It talks about what's getting tested. So section 1 is what we test, all 9 categories, each written with a very plain description. Basically, I want to know what's going on, and I think it's important that anybody who looks at this knows what's going on in each attack. We move on down, and we get to number 2. That would be resilience. So the scoreboard for each category, how many attacks passed, failed, or came back with uncertain, with a bar so you can see at a glance where the chat box is doing good and where it isn't. If it's broken, and by which version of the chatbot it was testing got broken. And so you can see all that down here. Now we move on down to section 3. Section 3 is a little small, mainly because we don't have many iterations. But section 3, it's the one that the security personnel, the people in charge, are going to really want to look. The resilience over time. So as you can see, we don't really have much to compare. Currently, it's just the one iteration of Copilot. But every time the chatbot ships a new version, Agent Forge reruns everything and adds a new row. So over the next couple of weeks, if we continue to work on this, it will be able to tell us through penetrative testing if things have improved or gotten worse. The next section is number 4. And this talks about the problems that have been found and the fixes that were verified. So the actual problem shows that there were 6 total found right here. And you can see that 4 are resolved. Now, resolved here is pretty strict. Whatever the bug was, did it get fixed? And then when Agent Forge reran the original attack against the new version, did it fail or did it succeed? So as you can see, I did end up resolving 4 of the 6 issues, and I was able to confirm that the hole in the defense is closed. Each one of these areas also talks about what kind of risk it is. So you can see we don't have any more critical risks, but we do have some high ones. Those are talked about further on towards the bottom. Now we move to section 5. So section 5 talks about the costs. 9 campaigns have been run so far, or so about 60 cents total, as you can see. It's a little higher, but the average cost is you know, about 7 cents per run, which is pretty good. It's a lot better than what it was when I first started. Now we'll go ahead and move on to run number 6. But before we do, you can see here that I have a cross projection. You know, for 100 runs, 1,000 runs, 10,000, and 100,000, as was asked for in the PRD. You can see over here on the right side, it actually projects that the more runs we make, the cheaper each run is going to cost. Projected. Without running 100,000 runs, we won't know for sure. But for the sake of this example, that's a little cross prohibitive right now. All right, now to section 6. So it is the audit trail. Every campaign that the agent runs and what the orchestrator chose to attack and why can come back. So we can go ahead and look at this and we can see this is what happened, this is why it was chosen, and this is when it happened. This gives you a full breakdown of what's going on. Now we get to the very bottom. This talks about those issues that we had here in number 4. And it talks about the resolved and the open ones. So as you can see, I went ahead and I resolved the 2 critical issues that were had and 2 of the high issues. And so we have 2 left. Those will be resolved if needed. And I think I will have time to get to those in the next 3 days before the final on Friday. So that's Agent Forge on one page. Essentially a team of AI agents that keeps attacking my clinical chat box. And it checks its own work honestly, turns in every bug, makes a permanent test from it, and verifies the fixes when they land. It shows whether the system's getting safer over time or getting worse, and it keeps the human in the loop where it matters. The question was never, really, is there a weak spot? It's, can it keep up with the weak spots as they are found? This is the sort of thing that keeps going, and it's running right now. And that is Agent Forge. Thank you.